Welcome to G-Fun Facts Online. Today we are looking at a murder mystery that spans millions of kilometers and billions of years. It is a story that forces us to ask a simple, unsettling question. If we had looked up at the sky 100 million years ago, during the time of the dinosaurs, would Saturn have been naked? The sheer, staggering beauty of Saturn has captivated the human imagination since Galileo first turned his primitive spyglass toward the heavens in 1610. He famously mistook the planet's rings for ears, confused by the strange bulges on either side of the disk. For centuries since, these celestial halos have stood as the crown jewels of our solar system. They are a symbol of cosmic perfection and permanence. We look at them, and we see eternity. But as we settle into 2026, the field of planetary science is reeling from a cascade of new findings that have completely upended our understanding of the gas giant. We are realizing that that sense of permanence is a lie. We are no longer looking at a static system but at the aftermath of a violent celestial accident. This is the story of the Titan Cataclysm. To understand why this theory is so revolutionary, we first have to understand the classic view that held sway for centuries. Since the time of astronomers like Laplace and Kant, the prevailing wisdom was that Saturn's rings were primordial. The idea was that they were leftovers from the accretion disk that formed the planet itself 4.5 billion years ago. In this view, the rings were as old as the solar system, a fossilized remnant of creation. And this felt intuitively right. Massive structures in space usually take eons to form and stabilize. The rings are vast, spanning up to 282,000 kilometers from the planet, yet they are shockingly thin. In some places, no thicker than a two-story house. The sheer delicacy of the structure suggested it had been settling there, undisturbed, for eons. However, there was always a problem with this theory. We call it the dirt problem. Saturn exists in a dusty neighborhood. The outer solar system is awash in micrometeoroids, tiny particles of rock and dust that constantly bombard planetary bodies. Over 4.5 billion years, these dark, sooty particles should have polluted the pristine water ice of Saturn's rings, turning them dark and charcoal gray. Yet, when we look at the rings, they are blindingly bright. They reflect sunlight with an albedo that rivals fresh snow. For decades, astronomers hand-waved this anomaly. Perhaps the rings were so massive that the pollution was diluted. Perhaps there was a hidden mechanism cleaning them. But when NASA's Cassini spacecraft arrived at Saturn in 2004, it began to dismantle the primordial rings theory piece by piece. Cassini spent 13 years diving through the gaps, tasting the dust, and measuring the mass of the rings. Its final act, the grand finale in 2017, saw the probe plunge between the planet and the rings, allowing it to weigh the rings by measuring their gravitational pull. The result was a shock. The rings were light. They were far too light to be old. If they were ancient, they would have been far more massive to survive billions of years of erosion and bombardment. The low mass, combined with their impossible brightness, pointed to only one conclusion. The rings are young, shockingly young. Current estimates place their age between 10 million and 100 million years. To put that in perspective, when the Stegosaurus roamed the Earth, Saturn may have had no rings at all. When the Tyrannosaurus Rex looked up at the night sky, it might have seen a dim, ringless star where the jewel of the solar system now shines. If the rings didn't form with Saturn, they had to come from somewhere else. They had to be made. And usually, the universe makes things by breaking other things. The first major breakthrough in this narrative came in 2022, when researchers proposed the existence of a lost moon, which they poetically named Chrysalis. The team was trying to solve two mysteries at once: the age of the rings and Saturn's strange tilt. Saturn spins at a tilt of 26.7 degrees, which is odd because gas giants usually form standing straight up. Simulations suggested a missing piece, a moon about the size of Iapetus, roughly 1/500 kilometers across, that used to orbit between Titan and Iapetus. According to the Chrysalis hypothesis, this moon existed for billions of years, keeping the system in balance. But there was a destabilizing force at work: Titan. Titan is not just a moon, it is a monster. Larger than the planet Mercury, it possesses a thick, orange atmosphere. Crucially, Titan is migrating outward, moving away from Saturn at a rate of about 11 centimeters per year. This migration is the engine of chaos in the Saturnian system. As Titan drifted outward, its gravity began to tug on Chrysalis. Around 160 million years ago, they entered a resonant dance, pumping energy into Chrysalis's orbit until it passed too close to Saturn. It crossed the Roche limit. This is the invisible line, where a planet's tidal forces become stronger than the gravity holding a moon together. The result was instantaneous and catastrophic. Imagine a world the size of a small continent being gripped by an invisible giant. The moon groaned, cracked, and then shattered. Billions of tons of ice and rock were ripped apart. About 99% of Chrysalis's mass spiraled into Saturn, but the remaining 1%, a cloud of pure, shattered water ice, was stranded in orbit. The rocky, heavy bits fell away, leaving behind the lighter, reflective water ice. The moon Chrysalis was gone, but from its cocoon, the butterfly of Saturn's rings had emerged. However, science rarely rests. As we moved into 2024, 2025, and now 2026, new high-fidelity simulations have suggested an even more violent origin story. This is what is now being referred to as the Titan Cataclysm. Recent papers have shifted the focus from a solitary lost moon to a massive collision involving Titan itself. Researchers began investigating the oddities of Hyperion, a chaotic sponge-like moon that tumbles unpredictably in its orbit. The new models suggest that Hyperion is not a primordial moon but a fragment of something larger. The theory posits that the Saturnian system once hosted a proto-Hyperion, a substantial moon orbiting near Titan. About 100 to 200 million years ago, Titan's outward migration destabilized this proto-Hyperion. But instead of just getting ripped apart by Saturn, this moon may have collided with Titan or passed so violently close that it was shredded by the encounter. This grazing collision scenario is terrifying to visualize. A moon roughly the size of our own moon, and a smaller, icy world screaming toward each other at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. The impact or near miss would have stripped the outer icy mantle off proto-Hyperion, sending a spray of debris throughout the system. This solves the cleanliness problem perfectly. If the rings were formed from the icy mantle of a destroyed moon, they would naturally be made of pure water ice. It also explains why Titan has a relatively young surface. A massive bombardment could have resurfaced it. And it explains the modern moon Hyperion, which is likely the largest surviving chunk of shrapnel, a reaccreted pile of rubble. To truly appreciate this, we must delve into the mechanics of destruction. When the doomed moon crossed the Roche limit, the process began with tidal stretching. The moon would have elongated into a cigar shape. Massive fissures would open in its crust, venting subsurface oceans or gases into space. Then, structural failure. The moon unzips. The side facing Saturn is ripped away, while the trailing side is flung outward. This creates a stream of debris, a string of pearls wrapping around the planet. In the first few days, Saturn would have been surrounded by a chaotic torus of massive boulders, some the size of mountains, constantly colliding and grinding themselves down. This grinding process is incredibly efficient. Large boulders smash into pebbles, which smash into dust. This increases the surface area, making the system brighter. Within a few thousand years, a blink of an eye in cosmic time, the chaotic cloud settled into the razor-thin sheet we see today. The villain, or architect, of this drama remains Titan. Its rapid migration, 11 centimeters per year, acts like a snowplow, sweeping through the solar system. The Titan Cataclysm theory suggests that the current layout of Saturn's moons is not a peaceful family photo, but a snapshot of survivors. Mimas, Enceladus, Tethys, Dione, Rhea. They are the ones that dodged the bullet, or perhaps they are the children of previous collisions. Some variations of the theory even suggest that all these inner moons are second generation, formed from the same debris field that created the rings. This leads us to profound implications for life, specifically on Enceladus. Enceladus shoots geysers of salty water into space, indicating a global subsurface ocean. But a subsurface ocean needs heat. If Enceladus were 4.5 billion years old, it should have frozen solid eons ago. If the Titan Cataclysm theory is correct, Enceladus might have been turned on only recently. The cataclysm 100 million years ago could have shoved Enceladus into its current eccentric orbit, kickstarting the tidal heating. This is a double-edged sword for astrobiology. It solves the energy problem, but it might mean the ocean is too young for life to have evolved. Or, if we do find microbes there, it implies that life is not a rare, slow accident, but a rapid, inevitable chemical imperative. Finally, this theory forces us to confront a melancholy truth. We are incredibly lucky to be alive right now. If the rings are only 100 million years old, they have existed for less than 2% of Saturn's history. Intelligent life on Earth evolved during the exact, brief window where Saturn is most spectacular. But the rings are dying. We know about ring rain. Saturn's magnetic field sucks water grains out of the rings and dumps them into the atmosphere at a rate of 10,000 kilograms per second. At this rate, combined with meteoroid pollution, the rings will fade and darken. In another 100 to 300 million years, they will resemble the faint, wispy rings of Jupiter or Uranus. Future civilizations will not see the glorious golden disk we see. They will see a dark, thin band, or perhaps nothing at all. This sense of transience was highlighted in March 2025 when the rings disappeared from Earth's view due to the ring plane crossing, an optical illusion where we view them edge-on. It was a poignant visual metaphor for their eventual fate. To confirm this theory, we look to the future of exploration. Missions like the proposed Saturn Ring Observer or the Enceladus Orbilander could settle the debate. NASA's Dragonfly mission, launching soon to Titan, will measure the moon's seismic activity and rotation, looking for the scars of that massive collision 100 million years ago. The story of the Titan Cataclysm changes how we view our place in the universe. We used to view the solar system as a clockwork mechanism, set in motion at the beginning of time. We now know this is false. The solar system is a dynamic, evolving, and often violent ecosystem. Moons wander, planets tilt, and worlds are destroyed. The rings of Saturn are not a static feature of the cosmos. They are debris. They are the wreckage of a world that died so that Saturn could wear a crown. As we gaze at Saturn through our telescopes in 2026, we are not looking at a painting. We are looking at a snapshot of an explosion in slow motion. We are witnessing the aftermath of the Titan Cataclysm. And in the grand scale of cosmic time, we have arrived just in time to see the show. Thank you for listening to G Fun Facts Online.